We continue the conference with another batch of startups pitching on stage. First, let me introduce on stage the jury: Gyula Feher, Marian Dumitru, Manuel Heilman, and Andrei Bartos. Gentlemen, a big round of applause for them. The same problem, right? Okay. These are the papers. Please write your names on each paper. Okay. Do you have yours? Okay. Cool. Now, first startup, pitching, Sum and Substance.
Hi everyone, my name is Jacob and I'm one of the founders of Sum and Substance. We provide global know your customer and fast onboarding solution. For example, if you want to open a bank account, you need to go through the face-to-face identification at the bank office. It's quite inconvenient and take lots of time. Our solution allows to conduct the whole procedure automatic online and within 2 minutes. To get verified, you just need to take a photo of your passport and, for example, smile into the camera of your smartphone. That's it. After that, our robot analyzes all the data, validates the passport, matches faces, and everything. On the back end, we ensure all the compliance with financial and privacy policy authorities. Besides legal part, our robot is also equipped with a huge anti-fraud toolkit. Let's have a look on some sample use cases. This passport looks quite like a real document, and it's quite hard to define that this is fake with a human eye. But that's how our robot sees the image. The red zone shows the usage of Photoshop. Here is another example. This German ID looks pretty good, like a real document as well. And this one, and this one. But as you see, all these documents are sample template. And it's really hard to determine it, especially if we're talking about huge number of incoming documents. Let's talk about some figures. We are growing fast, around 20% each month. We have more than 300 paying B2B clients all around the globe. And currently we verify around 500,000 users monthly. It's quite a huge number. Among our clients, we have such companies like Uber, GetTaxi, Avito, and one of the biggest European IT company, Mail.ru Group. We are focused on banking, fintech companies, trading platforms, sharing economy, and blockchain-based projects. The market size is going to be around 1 billion checks next year. We offer a cloud-based solution with pay-as-you-go model, and average price is around 1.5 euro per check. What makes us unique is that all our checks are processed with the help of huge technologies, and instead of using human resources like most of our competitors practice. But it's really unfortunately, this presentation doesn't support video format, and it's really hard to put all the information into these slides. But I would be happy to demonstrate our liveness module and behavior and emotional tools in person after the presentation. About our current stage, we are about to close Series A round, and currently we are looking for partners, new clients, and investors. Thank you.
Hi. So your traction from the slides looks impressive. My question is, how many of the 350 clients are actually paying for the service, and what's your revenue level currently?
All these 300 clients are paying clients, paying B2B clients, and some of them short-term, like ICO projects, some of them long-term, but our revenue, you can easily calculate it with all the provided figures. Like we have, we check around 500,000 users monthly, and the average cost is around 1.5 euro per check. So it's around 500,000 euro monthly revenue.
Okay. Very impressive numbers. How do you deal with regulations and KYC regulation in each country? Because each country has slightly different requirements on KYC. I mean, Germany, for instance, they have, you know, you need to have certain certification. You need to follow certain rules. And France, I think, has similar requirements. So how do you deal with that? So you have cross-border solutions that is acceptable, or
Yes.
accepted by banks and the local regulators.
Thank you for the question. For that purpose, we have our internal legal department, and of course, we should be aware of all the changes in this field. And regarding personal data processing, we are compliant to GDPR, and also we are compliant to local jurisdictions, like Russian one, for example. And regarding all the compliance stuff, we have all the necessary technical and compliance documentation describing our KYC procedures and AML procedures. And in fact, we work closely with FCA, which is UK financial regulator, and also with CySEC, which is like Cyprus one. And also our checks accepted with different banks in Singapore, in Europe, in US. And in fact, usually it's the first question from our clients, which regulators and which banks accept your checks, and in which banks we can open a bank account, for instance. And we help our clients to solve these issues, because we, apart from KYC AML checks, we also provide like a box solution equipped with legal expertise, and also we can take care about all the personal data storing, so we can store all the data for our clients. So in this field, we are quite experienced, and we are aware of all the local and international jurisdictions and regulations.
Your website states that you do a lot of KYC for ICOs. It's also available in Korean, which tells me you're dealing a lot with crypto. Out of the 350 customers, how many of those are ICOs, and the decline of ICOs, how did it affect your revenue traction? Did it flatten out, decrease, or is it still increasing?
Well, I would say that, for instance, in Russian region, we covered everything. We work with all the biggest local companies, as long as with the CIS region. And these clients are not related with crypto at all. So about half of our revenue comes from long-term clients. And regarding blockchain-based projects, we work also with cryptocurrency exchanges, which is long-term companies as well. And around, I would say around maybe 100 projects are ICO companies. And but some of them also are going to use our service in long term.
And just a quick question, when did you guys launch?
We started our sales in 2016, so around 2 years. Thank you.
Next startup pitching on stage, iFactor.
Big green arrow, next slide. Okay.
Hi, I'm Cosmin and I founded iFactor. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've built in the last 20 years around 12 businesses. It's always been a struggle to get the right financing for my businesses. As you all know, the banks give you the umbrella when it's shiny and they take it when it rains. iFactor, it's an invoice trading platform in the shape of a marketplace. Number one, the lack of financing, it's the number one pain in the ass, SMEs growth. SMEs are considered microloans for the banks with a high underwriting cost for processing. And also they don't have enough guarantee assets. On the other side, the banks are facing unreliable data scoring for their credit assessments. Therefore, it's no wonder why the banks are only on the third place in the main source of financing for the SMEs. MIT says that 95% on the SMEs worldwide have insufficient access to funding with an over 2 trillion pounds, that would be 2,000 billion pounds gap in 2017. So iFactor solution, it's a B2B marketplace platform where SMEs can get access to the working capital by selling their outstanding invoices and get the cash in less than 24 hours. On the other hand, banks and investors, they can trade a new asset class of short-term, low risk and high yield. Being a marketplace, the core process and the deals are happening into an auction module. Starting February 2019, the platform will be enabled with an AI engine that would be machine learning, alternative data credit scoring, with funds from 3 million euro subsidy from EU grant. The competition is in the shape usually of peer-to-peer lending that shown their limitation, both in the default rates and incapability of scaling. We are aiming for the DACH region with a total market size of factoring in 2017 of 261 billion euro. And iFactor's obtainable market would be around 475,000 SMEs, out of which in the next 3 years we would appreciate that will gain minimum 0.2%. The team is very high skilled in both technical and financial fields. My co-founder Manuel Costescu, he has a background of McKinsey, plus 15 years in banking, working for JP Morgan. He's also former deputy of Ministry of SMEs in Romania. Sebi Presecan, he's our chief of programming and he's a PhD Java. And Sorin Stan, our chief of AI. We are proud to be since September in BT Store. We have up to 30 applications per day, even though we've just launched less than 1 month. We are proud to have partners like KPMG and to be the first SME lending platform that Banca Transilvania partnered with. As I said, we are launched since September this year, and we are looking to the DACH region, so we are opening a seed fundraise. Don't forget, if you are interested, please come find us and come on iFactor and turn your invoices into cash immediately. Thank you.
If I may, how much money are you looking to raise and what are you going to use it for?
The money will be for operations and customization of the platform, plus mostly marketing in Austria at first. From objective reasons, I cannot disclose some of the numbers that we are now looking for. So if there is any interest, then we can particularly talk about it.
Two questions. Why did you choose DACH as a second market besides Romania?
Long story short, we were researching the model of involving banks, and of course, being in Romania with and training the model in Romania with a market with lots of forging documents, because we look very much into the fraud risk in factoring. It was one perspective, but the other perspective was the conservativeness of the way the banks are conservative in the DACH region. So we started research Austrian market. We've incorporated 2 years ago in Austria. So we have some discussions with Bank Austria. We have with Raiffeisen in Austria, and in Germany with DZ Bank. That's why.
Which bank?
DZ Bank.
Okay. Second question. Yesterday we saw another factoring, P2P factoring company. So if we had to choose one, why would we choose yours?
Because there are differences. Elisa, she was in Banca Transilvania when we were wrapping up the product, and we've signed the contract with Banca Transilvania. She was the chief of factoring at that time there. What they are an NBFI, non-banking financial institution, using their own money. And with our platform being a marketplace, basically it's like you want to buy cheese, you have multiple shops with a variety of products. So on one side, you don't have one, I mean, on the buyer side, you don't have only one model. You have different risk criteria, different risk appetite, different liquidity. So basically by mixing these two models, SMEs have more access and gain more access to the financing.
So if I leave aside my general disgust about public funding, what it usually does, you receive over 3 million euros of public funding. It usually comes along with strings attached. So is there any part of what you've built for the 3 million euros? Do you have to make it public? Is it, open source, a part of the public domain, or any strings attached to this?
There are no strings attached. The money are for a specific project that we have, which is the AI product that we are developing, also the KYC on DLT, distributed ladder technology. So we've created a totally separate work stream for that. We have a separate team for that in Cluj. And the money are for research and development. Therefore, our KPIs are only to public the research results, articles and stuff about our product. But otherwise, actually, the product will be proprietary for us. So there is no strings on that side.
Other questions? That's it? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Last startup pitching on stage, UIQT.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so delighted to be here. I'm Octavian, co-founder of UIQT. We aim to augment the travel industry by creating an end-to-end platform that allows like-minded people to experience tours and attractions together. Our main focus is AI hyper-personalization and relevance supported by blockchain loyalty. But before I get ahead of myself, let me just share a little story with you. You might be aware that about a month ago, Elon Musk just launched the first passenger flight around the moon and back. And the Japanese billionaire just bought all the tickets. That's pretty weird, right? Well, his explanation was disarmingly simple. I don't want to enjoy this unique experience by myself. I want to share it with like-minded people. So I chose to give all the other tickets away to artists. And that illustrates exactly what we do. Currently, when booking a tour or attraction, it feels a lot like a blind date. you have no real way of knowing with whom you'll get to share the experience with. What if there was a smart assistant that was aware of your interests and able to recommend the right tours and attractions where most like-minded people would be, bringing you together? Wouldn't that be cool? The tours and attractions market is a $100 billion market, and it experiences the most growth in the tourism industry. Not only that, it enjoys the highest repeat buy rates as well. But the most fascinating thing about it is the fact that only 20% of the transactions are currently done online, leading into a huge opportunity to bring a fragmented space together and into the digital age. What makes us stand out is our holistic, innovative technology. We enable tourists to find and book relevant tours on the go, last minute, while they get rewarded for helping peers find their perfect experiences. A simple, clean, friendly, but compelling UX stands at the core of our cross-platform product, from native mobile to web. What's the most remarkable thing under the hood is our passive loyalty auto-referral technology on top of our AI recommendation engine, which is designed to engage and retain users and turn them into advocates. We will be making our revenue by taking a commission of in between 10 to 30% of tour sales on the B2B side, as well as a small commission and monthly fees from tour operators that choose to use our SaaS platform. In addition to that, we will be upselling flights and hotels in the near future. Focus is crucial for a startup. So instead of taking over the world, we focused on mastering one city. In our case, Dubai, which is where we recently won the Interlock Incubator, which invested 15K of no equity. We also formed relationships with local tour operators, with Emirates Airlines, as well as local governments. This launchpad will give us the learnings and the processes required to branch out into future locations. Our competitive space is diverse and dynamic and has seen a lot of movements lately. Proved by the large investments and acquisitions in the hundreds of millions of dollars just in the last couple of months. We are a tightly knit, cross-functional team of experts in our own fields with a proven track record to take a product from idea to happy paying customers. And we've done so for startups as well as large global brands such as Emirates, Oracle, Jaguar Land Rover, or ASOS.
Time's up. Questions?
Thank you so much.
My question is whether you have already a product, any customers, what's the stage of the development
what
of the
stage we are at?
technology?
Right, sure. So at this point in time, we are quite early stage. We do have most of the back-end technology, all the beautiful stuff that I just told you about. We have the designs for the mobile app, and that's being developed, and we'll have a soft launch in December. We'll do the proper MVP launch early January. In addition to that, we're basically working on the entire front end to be able to support a January launch. There's no customers yet. There's just validation of the idea, a lot of research, and a number of partners that we hope to support us in our vision. And obviously, prepare us for our seed round in February, which is what I was supposed to say at this slide. Thank you.
Out of all the great features that you described, reviews, loyalty program, sales, whatnot, like which parts are the ones that simply cannot be done without having a blockchain? And what chain are you going to use? And does this mean that you're launching some sort of utility token or something of similar sorts?
That's a beautiful question. So we're going to be using Hyperledger because that's what you want to be using if you're not doing ICOs and other things. And the reason we want to do that is to be able to give users ability and transparency to their data and how they ended up getting loyalty points, whom they helped, and what the history of the interactions with the platform was.
So
Which is,
Sorry.
does that make sense?
Yeah, but if you take, for instance, couchsurfing.com, it's not on blockchain, but people still believe that a certain host is a good one or a bad one. And there's not blockchain behind it, but they were able to establish a threshold of trust without that.
So I would actually vote for an answer no, it does not make sense. And I hate your blockchain AI slides. So what you did was basically putting two buzzwords on one slide, and I don't think either of them make any sense. So my key question is, so this has been a problem or a state of things for quite a while. Why do you believe you're the team to change it? And why do you believe it's the right time to change it now? Because Viator and Get Your Guide, they've been around forever. I've seen probably 24 of startups who, like you, want to change things. Why is the right time? Why are
now?
you the good?
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So apart from what I mentioned, having to do with the huge interest, and I'm going to avoid the word hype because blockchain and AI, around the industry, right? It feels like the right time, looking at solo female traveler interest, which is going to be our initial target to build up the platform. There's a need for people to find themselves in groups they feel safe, for example. Does that make sense? And also find themselves in groups where they share various interests with like-minded people so they can build connection. And that is the outcome of our research with industry influencers, with YouTubers, bloggers, and obviously all the industry research that was, that we had access to, right? Apart from that, I would really like to come back to the AI because we're probably going to want to remove those terms because we didn't want to use them as buzzwords necessarily, maybe. But the idea, it does make a lot of sense if you want to make sure that you personalize a user's experience to make sure you have access to all of their history. And this technology is a technology that we are familiar with. So it made sense for us. This is where we wanted to go with it.
So we're running out of time, so I have just one question, but I second the comments about blockchain and AI. It seems that a lot of startups throw in blockchain as a buzzword, and just for the sake of mentioning it. But so actually I like the concept overall. I think it will be tough to get traction because you're competing against established players like Get Your Guide. So my question is, have you thought about integrating with some of the established players because you add certain twists to what they offer, which is kind of the sharing experience or knowing whom you travel with?
Certainly. So first of all, we don't
Short answer, please. Short answer.
Right. So it might be that given the fact that we're early stage, we might have to pivot more towards B2B because that's where our technology might be more useful, and empowering the small tour operators get into the digital stage and sell more, right? I'll stop it there. There's a lot I could say about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.